Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Anime Club. Deal with it, you suckers.
Obligatory awful Vorn intro for every recording session.
Yes, this actually does need to happen. I do try to have the fun of this group right here because none of you goddamn will do so with these intros.
That's fair. That's entirely fair. So, as we've done the last couple times, or for the last, half a season's worth of videos, recommendations based on this. So, I'm going to be honest, it's a little hard for me to give recommendations based on this because this is not the type of show that I normally watch. So, I don't know a lot of things that are like this in general, but I would say as for things that triggered a similar kind of intrigued response in me, I would probably say Moriarty the Patriot, or Yukoku no Moriarty, triggered a lot of this same kind of questioning in me. And then, let's see, that might be just about the only thing that's triggered. Maybe 86 also triggered a similar, I'm curious, sort of, but this is good and I'm curious vibe in me, in terms of reading and or watching. I don't often watch or read things that tickle me intellectually. You know what I mean? I'm not normally one for things where the deep lore involves fucking experimental calculus and physics and metaversal theories involving the universe.
I mean, you just had light rays freaking within that first freaking arc right there. So,
I'm going to go out there and say, at least the one that might be obvious to Warren and I, I'm going to steal Warren's thunder here. Index Railgun. I think if you like things, and if you like a lot of what the show brings to the table, from a obviously Saiki says a lot of her connection to this is nostalgic. I think if you're coming at this from, if you see elements you like here, which the elements is, considering the elements I like here at least, you might find similar things with Index Railgun, including the dubious adaptational quality.
yeah.
That was unintentional, and I'm sorry you got the short end of the stick. What about you, Vorn? Anything else you can think of?
Oh, goddamn. I'm blanking hard right now.
You know what? That's entirely fair. I have to say that, maybe this is just, in terms of what I watch, but it is... I genuinely struggle to think of a show that is similar to this in kind of...
It's pretty unique.
Yeah.
If you were talking about, just adventure stuff, I probably could, say... Detective Conan, but if we were talking about the arc stuff, it's a bit harder. Maybe what was that, a Taku teacher thing? Maybe that might, yeah,
Denpa Kyoshi.
Yeah.
See, I know there's a lot of light novel series that follow similar sort, because this follows a urban fantasy - urban sci-fi sort of aesthetic.
Tower of God. This is actually a little bit similar to Tower of God.
Kinda.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think as you get later into Tower of God, it definitely shows more. I think early season, that first season we watched for the channel, maybe not, but once you move into season 2 and onwards.
Yeah, and I've obviously read it, so I can see the connection. There's maybe a few, there's definitely some... I think the general vibe of this is if I were to pick out a genre of light novels that are like this, those, a lot of those ones where it's weird towers or dungeons where someone just appears and they don't know why, and they have to figure that out by following them through the story, and often they have special abilities but they don't know what's up, and there's something weird and world fucky going on. There's kind of a genre of those where there's a lot of them, so I won't name them, but those are relatively similar. Kind of like the max level returner who can't leave the beginner level dungeon or whatever. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no direct clones of this show.
No.
If you're looking at world, I could see a few worlds that have similar elements, or at least aim for that more urban sci-fi element. I think it leans more sci-fi, but I think you could probably get a similar element to that similar top-down control theming out of something like Psycho Pass.
Yeah, which kudos to this for coming out in 2002, but still being a relatively unique premise and concept, like
Yeah.
in terms of the actual story. I mean, often you think about animes or mangas that came out like 10 to 15 years ago, and there have been a lot of very similar redos.
I think where this show struggles to find an identity, though, is that it's a large part of the show's identity that's not just it's our world is the Limitless Fortress, which you don't
Yeah.
spend the entire show in.
You don't spend enough
So,
time
like,
in the Limitless Fortress.
On one hand, I could take the Limitless Fortress and say Psychopaths. On the other hand, not really, because
Yeah.
that's not this entire show.
the stuff outside of the Limitless Fortress feels like an entirely different sort of
Yeah.
show than
I
the
almost-
stuff in the Fortress.
When you're outside the Limitless Fortress, especially in the filler arcs, I almost point you more to something like Gintama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely more comedic.
Yeah.
And like episode to episode. But then once you get into the Fortress, you're dealing with a lot of more
Serious
kind of
stuff.
fucky-wucky shit.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think, you know what? Retrospectively, having discussed this, it might be, partially my nostalgia might be the dichotomy of that, because I get a show that has more serious and kind of like brain-twisting elements, but I also get that, like,
Oh yeah, no, I don't
Ease
have a
of
problem jumping
watch.
in and out of that. Like I like,
Yeah.
I praised Railgun for doing that kind of thing. It was like
Yeah.
it'll be slice of life until a point where it's not.
yeah.
And I don't mind that. I actually quite like that.
Well, and you know me, I love those
Yeah.
kind of shows that are just like episode to episode, whatever. So, you know, at least part of my enjoyment probably comes from that presence of those kind of filler comedic episodes that make up the space between major arcs.
I don't have, like, you'll notice this entire time, I don't have many complaints about the actual story itself. Most of my complaints come down to certain characterization and how they go about writing the characters.
I just remembered something. Samurai Jack, like the if you compare like the seasons, like where they're just actually having like their episode a day adventure kind of thing, and then like you compare it to last season, this is kind of like that,
Yeah.
except like this is a little bit more spread out, while Samurai Jack is like you have these seasons and then you have this season.
Yeah, I mean, Samurai Jack
yeah.
did do a similar thing where there was a lot of kind of like one-off and little group stuff that was more funny than anything, and then there was serious story arcs.
Yeah.
I think that happens in personally, I think that's actually fairly common in Western animation, where you
yeah.
get a lot of like week-to-week comedic bits, and then they throw in serious arcs and
yeah.
overarching
Yeah.
themes.
Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah. Or Teen Titans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Teen Titans.
Oh god, I had another one
the
in my head.
Justice Leagues, the Batman.
Atla, Avatar: The
Yeah.
Last Airbender.
Yeah.
Where you need to make sure most episodes can be jumped in just randomly, and then every once in a while you have a multi-episode arc.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the long-time viewers and the people who want that grittiness.
That's I think our Limitless Fortress arc from season 1 of Get Backers didn't necessarily follow that to a T.
I think it was a little too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
The fights were a little too dragged out. But also, 2002, 2003, I think about shows that came out during that same time, and I get why the fights might have been a little
like,
longer.
outside
Yeah.
that arc, I could probably jump. If I probably would have enjoyed the show much more if I were a kid trying to flip the channel and I found one just a random episode came on. I probably would have enjoyed it well enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so, too. I mean, you know, obviously I watched it when I was younger. I mean, I say younger in kind of an odd sense because I don't necessarily, when I say younger, I didn't grow up watching anime. So I didn't have access to like anime channels on TV. So when I say younger, I mean I started watching anime when I was 13.
That's what I mean most, like
Yeah.
middle high school age. Obviously,
Yeah,
I'm not
middle
talking
school to high
elementary.
school. Because I was not a child even raised on Pokemon or Digimon. Like, I didn't even get
See,
that.
Pokemon Digimon was the limit for anime for me until like high school.
Yeah. So I kind of just jumped off the deep end in 2012, 2013 and just did everything all at once. Which made for a lot of shows that I now remember with like fond nostalgia as like the first things I watched or read when I got into anime. But at the same time, my tastes have changed so much that, like, for example, we were talking about this with Kaitawa Maid-sama. I have such fond memories of that show. I don't actually enjoy that show these days, but I have such fond memories of it that I'll still watch it. You know, if it's something that I have to watch, or if it's on, or someone else wants to watch it, I have no issues watching it, even though I don't really enjoy it anymore. At least personally.
Yeah.
So, we don't have a ton to talk about, I suppose.
I could tell a funny story.
I would like to hear a funny story if it's related.
tangential. It's at
Okay.
least related to the anime
That
and the
counts.
podcast.
Okay.
That counts.
So my brother and I were like just going back and forth on anime and like where we thought things went wrong. We talked about Fate in there, but that's not the point of this story. Eventually, the topic came on to Naruto,
Oh boy.
Oh my.
and my brother was like, "Yeah, Naruto's problem is that it's that it's too bogged down by filler." As time I'm like, from what I watched in Naruto, my favorite episodes were the filler.
It's the fights. For me, in Naruto, it's
Yeah.
the fight length. It's like Dragon Ball. It's the fight length that's the problem.
And he was just like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?"
It's the... Okay, it's not just the fight length. It's the way that the fights get spread out across episodes, where often a fight will cut off mid-fight at the end of the episode, and then at the beginning of the episode, because it's geared towards people jumping in, right? They'll repeat or detail everything that's happened so far in a flashback. They did that in this show too.
Recap.
Like we had some serious recapping during fights.
Oh, yeah.
Time.
But that's what I mean. Like it's that recap chunk at the
Yeah.
beginning that makes the fight so long.
Especially during like the Unlimited Fortress, where like they were insanely long. Everything else wasn't that bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on, water. Voice going bad.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. So we've got a little bit of a fucky wucky thing for the next submission poll. We're gonna know the next two things that we're watching together.
Yeah.
And that's because it is coming up on Christmas for us, and we want to spend time with our families. So we are not going to be meeting for a month to record. So we've got two things to record next time, which means that today, Vorn is going to tell us what we're watching next, and then we're going to pull a rando from the hat. So,
Doing both.
Vorn, what are we watching for our next episode out?
I forgot. It's on the list.
Yes, so it is already on the list. Would you like me to remind you?
Mob Psycho.
Yeah, okay.
There
So
you
we're
go.
going to be
Season
watching
one. Season 1.
Season 1 of Mob Psycho. And then we will draw a rando. So, drum roll, please.
What?
I don't even remember who put this in. Hang on. Let me check who put this into the hat. Because I think it might have been me. And if so, I am eating good this season.
Oh, okay.
Seki winning most lucky this season?
Genuinely, at this point. Yep, it's me. So we are actually going to be watching season 1 of The Disastrous Life of Psyche K.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my show. And
Yeah.
we are going to be watching that, which means I am eating the good shit.
Yes, you are.
Stop the count. It's Rick.
I mean,
How many times has she gone pulled right now?
yeah. I mean, I've what's that make it for me? A lot.
Yes.
Well, not that much, because Get Backers was my rando.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, just the one. Just the one. But that is what we will be watching for the next,
So this is where things get interesting. We've been doing something every season where we do or for every episode lately, where we do what are we looking at if we haven't seen this before? Or what are your expectations of it? But, like, how do we do that with 2 episodes in one?
So...
Do we want to just do both and put them in this episode, just not have it during the Mob Psycho free?
We'll do both and put them in
Yeah.
this episode, because we're gonna be watching both of these together. So,
Are we doing a Christmas movie or anything like that?
not this year, I don't think. So,
Yeah,
Vorn,
we're too
you've
busy.
seen Mob Psycho.
Yes.
Knick Knack, have you?
I've not. I've heard good things about it. I've
Okay.
seen the OP a million times. I'm excited for it.
So then, Knick Knack and I are going to watch the Mob Psycho trailer, and we will be back in a second.
The
All right.
magic of editing power.
Yeah, so we watched a shitty little Mob Psycho 100 trailer back from the original release of Season 1. I will say I did not know that this was the creator of One Punch Man.
Yep.
And honestly, I'm kind of getting Boku no Hero vibes from it. Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interested, especially because I know I've seen this before, so this is or not. I haven't seen the show before. I've seen like little clips of the show. I know this show has a lot of fun with its animation. Mm-hmm. Like we saw a little bit in the trailer, so I'm most curious to see like. I'm looking forward to the animation the most out of anything in this.
Yeah,
series.
it looks interesting.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested, especially now that I'm more involved in watching anime. I have to say, like, I care a little bit more.
You started catching up on your shonen palette a little bit.
A little bit,
Yeah.
yeah. A little bit, yeah.
Now if you can only get around to Black Clover.
Oh.
Look, don't
I
do
haven't
this
watched
to
it
me.
yet, so...
do that. Don't do this to me. But yeah, so that's what we're watching next, and we're pretty excited for that. So after that, we're watching The Disastrous Life of Saiki K. Now, I have seen The Disastrous Life of Saiki K. Vorn has also seen it, which I think leaves Nick Nack as the one who needs to watch a trailer.
Yep.
All right, so we're gonna let Nick Nack watch a trailer, and then we're gonna be back. Pow! All right, so that was a hellscape trying to find a trailer. The first 2 trailers were for Reawakened, and then apparently the original trailer on my anime list is just not available in our country. Fun. So we had to watch the dub trailer that was for like the entire first season, which is 2 cores because it's 24 episodes,
Yeah.
but we're only watching the first core.
Yeah.
So Vorn and I have already seen this. I will say this reminds me a little bit of like a clumsy version of Sakamoto. Anyways, how do you feel about this, seeing that trailer?
It's going to be interesting. I feel like I'm going to be watching 2 different shows that are approaching very similar concepts at the exact same time.
But from the exact opposite point of
Yep.
view.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a pretty interesting set of shows to be watching,
Yep.
like
I might
subsequently.
have to like do the thing where instead of watching one and then watching the other, I bounce back and forth between the 2 just so I can get that whiplash feeling I get once in a while.
That whiplash. Beautiful, absolutely fucking stunning. I really love Saiki K. I remember watching it when it was still just a 1 core, and I only ever watched the first season. I never watched season 2 or 3
Or
4. Yeah.
So
So
what
I
you're saying
actually
is, this
there
is
was
your excuse to keep going.
yeah, there was a little confusion for a second. I was a little confused about Reawakened because I was worried that maybe Reawakened was like a reboot of the series, but it's not. I checked.
I gotta say, I'm excited. I mean, I've heard pretty good things about both of these shows. And
Yeah.
so, it's...
Also, it looks like we're going to be getting 2 very fun animation styles.
Yeah.
Like, we've got kind of the detail and uniqueness of Mob Psycho, and then, like, just the sheer colorfulness and cheerfulness of Saiki K.
It also means I get to see the runner-up for the Internet Funny Man Award, Reagan.
Oh, is that...
yeah.
Twitter's was it 20? No, Twitter's Sexy Man Award. Reagan was the runner-up winner.
Oh, God.
And that's Mob Psycho. So I'm excited for that. And then Saiki K looks like it's going to be... It looks comedic, and I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
So a change of pace from what we've been watching lately.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
little bit of a break for us. So,
Nothing serious.
yeah. I guess we've done this before, but Vorn, are you approved on Mob Psycho?
Oh, yes. I have
Okay.
not watched the latest season yet.
But
which
for the
I probably
first season,
should.
yeah.
Yes.
And then you and I are both approved on Saiki K.
Yes, because I watched the whole entire thing.
Saiki K is guaranteed at least a C. It's guaranteed a D with
Yeah.
Mob Psycho. We're going to have to see if we can get guests for these 2.
Yeah.
Bokage did say he would want to do
Mob
Mob
Psycho.
Psycho.
And it
so-
might just be a matter of kidnapping him for both again.
Yeah. Or, I'm pretty sure CC would be into Saiki K. So, we will see about getting guests for those episodes. Realm is still on hiatus, so he
Yeah.
will not be returning for these 2 sets of episodes. With that being said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm not going to say Merry Christmas because it's going to be 2 months past when you see this.
Yeah.
But
I've heard telling like, comment, subscribe is actually more effective at the beginning of the episode than at the end.
look, I'm sure it is, but I'm bad at remembering that apparently.
Oh, we didn't say it for 2 out of 3 episodes, so...
I said it in the first one.
Did you?
No, we
Yeah,
said
at
it.
the end.
Oh, we said before.
See, I'm just bad at remembering we remembered it.
So maybe we'll start putting that at the beginning. Maybe we won't. We'll see.
Okay.
Fuck you, Knick Knack.
Yes.
All right. Try harder.
Everyone.
Bye bye.